Hi, everyone.
Hi, I'm Emily,
And I'm Rebecca.
and welcome to Middle Part Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all the latest in pop culture, music, and fashion, all reminiscing on our lifelong friendship.
Hello. We're back.
We're back.
It's so good to be back. I feel like since the last time we've recorded, I've become a hardcore Jelena stan, which is crazy. I didn't see this happening for myself, but now here I am.
It's like, I mean, it's a toxic place to be. It's somewhere I've been since 2012. Um,
No, literally, I feel like you've always like spearheaded this movement.
it's like embarrassing, but I don't know, I love a toxic relationship.
We do
And
we do love a toxic
we
relationship
love
on Middle Part.
Right. And they just always were the OG toxic relationship. They were one of the first toxic relationships to play out in new media. Like we saw
Hmm.
every fight. And obviously, I'm sure if you asked Jolena, there was a lot of things we didn't see, but we saw a lot. We saw more than we have with pretty much any other couple, even Justin and Brittany. Like, what do we have from Justin and Brittany? Like the denim outfit, and then the
Right.
breakup, we got nothing because social wasn't a thing.
It's so true. I feel like before there was Jelena, there was like the Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, Angelina Jolie love
Yes,
triangle. I feel like that was like the Y2K version of
totally.
Jelena. But again, it was just like magazines and like
Right. It was curated.
tabloids. It was very curated. It was like a very specific narrative. And now like with social media, it's in the fans' hands to
Yes.
drive the narrative. And I am tunnel vision, full steam ahead. Like Justin and Selena
We're meant to be.
were meant to be their true love, and he is just like miserable with Haley.
I know. I know. I mean, the other part of it is like, because, I mean, the reason so much of it was documented was twofold. One is, I think this was, again, the first wave. Like, Instagram launched in 2010
Hmm.
and they started dating, I think, in 2011 or maybe even 2010. So, like, literally the rise of social media, like, mirrored the rise of their relationship. And also, they were young. I feel like maybe if they were older, they wouldn't, like, post so much, but they were, like, so young that, yeah, we just got so much BTS
Yeah. Also, like we
content.
just didn't know like what the impact of like
No,
Instagram and social media was going to be back then. We just thought it was like a fun place to post pictures, and now it is like where culture lives.
footprint.
It's the
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's also like everything's recorded and you have all these like freaks like Rebecca and myself. It's really not us though, because the thing is like we would have forgotten about it if we didn't have people constantly serving us the content. Like
Thank you, 7-part series.
exactly. And that's not like now that you're in the world with me, like I feel like less crazy sending you things that I get served because my explore page is like it's like a lot of Jelena.
Like, yeah, like when everyone's like, these crazy bots, like if I say anything bad about Selena Gomez, like there's these crazy bots in my comments, and you go and look, and it's just like Emily being like, Jelena forever.
Exactly. It's like I've never seen that Instagram handle
Like,
before.
what? I don't
Yeah.
know. Um, I think the craziest thing you sent me was that guy that Selena was dating, like after like the first Justin breakup. I don't even know his name. He was like some random guy, and then a
Mhm.
year later, Haley
Oh,
was
oh
like
my
seen with
God.
him.
And that happened so many times where
Yeah,
she was just like,
it's
I
truly
mean,
single white female.
yeah,
I think that is the craziest part to me is not just her obsession with Justin, but her obsession of wanting to be Selena
yeah.
and
Well, I
being
mean,
like her. Like,
that's like usually how it goes. I feel like she takes it to such an extreme, but it is relatable. It's a relatable feeling to really be into a guy and then therefore be really into his ex because you want to see like, I mean, didn't Olivia Rodrigo just release a song about this? I'm so
so
obsessed
obsessed
with
with
your
my
ex.
ex. Yeah.
Like it's definitely a relatable thing, but
It
I mean,
is.
it's so
It's a
extreme.
universal experience, but it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, she takes it to a psychotic level, and it just shows you what money and access when you're at an age where your prefrontal cortex is not, is that what it's
Yeah.
called? Prefrontal
Yeah.
cortex is not fully developed, like the scary things that you can make happen for yourself.
And the fact, once again, like the fact that Justin wasn't turned off by it. Like,
Right.
of course, he had to have been. It's human nature. Like, he wasn't turned on by it, but he wasn't turned off, and like I don't know what went on there. It's very weird.
I really do feel like he was just like pushed into it by like the pastors and like the the Christian youth culture being like she's a nice Christian girl, like she wants to get married and have kids young and like you and her will like carry the word of Christ to this young generation.
I think that's right. I literally think I have no notes. I think that's pretty much what
Yeah.
happened.
I know. I was dying. Do you remember when I sent you a meme? It was like it's a Adam
Oh yeah.
Devine and like the deep V-neck with all the necklaces and a beanie. And it's like no one pastors in 2013.
Yeah, and it's also just like funny, like two Jewish girls from Long Island, like being so tapped into like this like bizarre Christian movement, just because it was. I mean, Justin single-handedly popularized like Christian youth movements
Yes,
in the
100%.
2010s.
Well, we've talked about this on previous podcasts, but I've like weirdly become Christian because I love crystals and like manifesting and spirituality. And all of a sudden I'm just like, and I'm talking to the universe. Is this like am I actually talking to Jesus? Like literally if I took out like the affirmations that I say with my crystals and took out universe and put Jesus, like I actually sound like a Christian youth group goer. I don't know what the word is. Like just a
Um,
Christ worshiper.
what was the church that he went to that kind of fell apart
Oh,
because
Hillsong?
oh my god, Hillsong. Hillsong. Well, I don't know if that church fell apart, but I know that the pastor was it Carl Lentz or is that his pastor now?
Isn't Carl Lentz the creator of like sociology or something? Who am I thinking of?
Sociology?
Wait, do you know what I'm talking
No.
about?
Scientology?
No,
David
it's like
Miscavige?
wait. I'm
Ron
dying. I have
L.
to look
Hubbard?
this up. Carl, like the guy who socialism. What's his name?
Oh, Karl Marx?
Karl Marx.
No.
Different. Okay.
Different.
Carl Lentz does not sound right to me. Hold on. Carl. Oh no, you're right.
Girl
Okay.
who literally
They should never have questioned you. Former pastor who is the spiritual advisor to celebrities such as Justin Bieber.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
literally like his
Yeah,
Wikipedia
that's his
tagline.
title. Again, I wish I couldn't just like drop these names like
Yeah, no, the way that you just like said that
oh,
off the dome so
of
quickly. Carl
yeah,
Lentz.
exactly. And now he's in like Church Home, I think that's what it's called. He went from Hillsong. There was a cheating scandal with that pastor who was cheating on his wife.
Right.
And
I
then they
remember this.
switched to go to a different church. And I don't know. I mean, I know because Justin shares about these people on his. Oh, okay. We need to get to White Lotus eventually, but while we're on Justin, there actually is something I do want to talk about. So he has a new brand coming out called Skylark. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like SKYLARK or LRK. I don't remember.
Okay.
And did you see the promo video for this new brand?
No, I
Okay.
haven't seen it.
So do
I
you
literally
know?
only see what you send me on Justin Bieber. And I actually just followed him today because I'm like, I need to like not just like watch him through the lens of Emily, but like have my own like purview. And
Okay, so do you know
Skylar.
about his former brand?
I vaguely remember, but
Drew House. Okay, so Drew is his middle name, Justin Drew Bieber.
oh, it was a fashion line.
Yes,
Okay, yeah, I remember him and Haley would wear it a lot. It was just like sweatpants and stuff.
exactly. Sweatpants, sweatshirts, and with like big smiley faces. And then the
Of course.
smile was Drew.
Yeah, I remember
Spelled out.
this.
So this new promo video for his new brand is like 3D avatars. I'm making it sound weirder than it is. It's literally just like a cartoon, but like I don't know the style of animation, but it's like more than just cartoon. It's like very like
Is it anime?
no, it's not anime because it like looks like Justin. It's like just very descriptive.
Okay. Is it like it's not like a Pixar kind of
Kind of.
animation.
I would say
Okay.
it's way closer to Pixar than it is to anime.
Okay.
And it's Justin on a skateboard with a song by Eddie Benjamin, who's like one of his like new BFFs that he's been posting about constantly on his Instagram. A song by Eddie Benjamin called Maniac playing in the background. It's actually a really great song. I love it. And Justin is on a skateboard and he skates to the house that's like Drew House
Mhm.
and he takes a match and he lights Drew House on fire.
Okay.
And then,
Signifying we're done with this brand. We're
right,
burning it to the ground.
right. And then, and one other thing to note is Drew House was created when he was still under the management of Scooter Braun and that whole entourage. So like Ryan Good was Justin's swagger coach and like
Hmm.
dressed Justin, and he was the creative director of Drew House. So, and if you look at Drew House's Instagram, there hasn't been a post since May 2024. So Justin lights the entire thing on fire. It goes up in flames. Then he turns around and he sees Haley in her signature sunglasses, long trench coat, kisses her, and they walk off into the sunset with baby Jack in a stroller.
Oh,
And there's all these like references to Skylark, his new brand. I just think it's like very aggressive to set fire to Drew House, like his apparel brand that he was actively promoting up until a year ago. And I do believe that, I mean, I think on one hand, he's cutting ties with all the people in his old management and these people that like probably had a stake in this company and like he developed this brand, um, in a different era. And I also do think he did outgrow it creatively. Like it was kind of like a boring, very of like the 2020 era, like COVID. It was like all sweatpants and like it was just I think he's like
tie-dye, bright colors.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think he's over it. But I just think it's a really intense way to signal that like transition.
Yeah, he definitely is like making a statement, severing ties, like I have nothing to do with this brand anymore. I'm
Yeah,
riding off into the sunset with my family and this is like my new focus.
exactly.
Skylark, whatever that is.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like it's weird that he couldn't just like let Drew
Right.
quietly die because no one like would have noticed. And like
Right.
if maybe someone asked, we would have been like, yeah, like we sunsetted that.
Exactly. Like I feel like that's so like in an interview, like doing press for his new brand, be like, yeah, I just like creatively it didn't really feel right for me anymore. Like there's so many ways to like seamlessly transition out of that era without literally setting fire in this like 3D avatar video. So anyway, you can watch it. It's on his Instagram and it just feels really aggressive and I'm happy for him. I think this brand is really cool and he's tapped into like a very specific group of 3D designers who I like know of because I used to work in
Fashion tech.
literally I used to work
Yeah.
in fashion tech and a lot of these designers design using digital like tools before they create physical goods. They use like just Clo 3D and like different software. So he's like actually tapped into this like very cool niche group of designers. So which makes sense. Like he has access to the best teams. Like he's has access to the best to like the people who are most tapped in into fashion culture.
I'm just interested
So
to like what
yeah,
is he trying to sell to us? Like what is the product that
I think
he
it's gonna be like shoes.
okay. I see that. I see that for him. I feel like that makes sense.
Totally, but like the vibe of the shoe is gonna be it's just like very like futuristic. That's what I mean. Like they like 3D model the shoe in a very specific way. And then it kind of, I mean, I hate to bring him up, he who shall not be named, but it's very much like giving like Kanye with like the blueprint of the Yeezy slides. I mean, that's kind of what it is giving. And it really is crazy that Kanye did that so many years ago. And it's still seen as kind of like futuristic. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I know we hate to give him credit for anything, but he did
Totally.
have a vision
He
and
did.
he did have a lasting impact. I'll never forget when he said like street style is the future and I was like, "What? Like I'm never going to dress like
Totally.
in street style." And that's
And you
literally
never did.
I mean, I do in my own way. Like I wear leggings and like the high socks and like big sneakers,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the New Balance. Like I do the basic girl version
That's
of
fair.
street style.
I had
Um
like a full street style era.
yeah, you did. Like I feel like joggers and crop tops and like
Yes,
yeah, but
yes.
you pulled it off.
Thank you. Well, I also worked for that marketplace,
Right.
streetwear marketplace.
We should cut that. We're not giving them any airtime.
Promoting. I
We're not
agree.
promoting them.
Bleep it
Bleep
out.
it. Bleep it. Wait, okay, speaking of like businesses that are real and or maybe not real, can we quickly just talk about Summer House and Carl and Soft Bar? Did you watch the most recent episode?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
that was just a natural segue.
totally. I love that you found that transition.
Uh, so on the latest episode, Carl hosts like the soft bar like pre-launch. I don't even know how you would describe it. It was like Lindsay actually, I hate to
I
give her
know
any credit,
the
but she
line you're
did
gonna say.
describe it really well. It was like a party to announce the concept of a future idea.
And then she
Like,
was like, "Why would I go to New Jersey for to celebrate a bar that's going to open in Brooklyn that's not even open yet?"
right. No, I know. She was making a lot of sense in that
But
time.
she's just mean. It's hard. She's really mean.
I know she is really mean. I thought everyone's like they kind of did Carl dirty with those confessionals of everyone being like, I'm so happy for Carl. This brings him so much joy. Like I'll show up anywhere to support Carl. And
Yeah.
then they're clearly asked, like, do you think it's a good idea? And they're all just like, even if it doesn't make $1, like,
Yeah.
I love you, Carl. I
And
feel
then
like
I thought it was funny when Jesse's like, "I think it's gonna be hard." It's
yeah.
like when alcohol is like your highest margin product and there's no alcohol.
Right. And then I love when West was like, I mean, I don't really know what it is or what the long-term plan is, but like I think it's great that like he has a passion. No, but like like actually I don't understand what it is because it's like a bar, it's supposed to be a bar where they don't serve alcohol, but most places have a mocktail menu.
Right.
Also, I feel like the whole point of like not the whole point of sobriety, but like a big part of it is being able to be out in the world and be around your triggers and like not succumb to them or not or just
Totally.
learn how to like um just be places where people are where there is alcohol and not feel pressured. But I do think on the other hand it is nice that maybe you're not there yet and there is a place you could go for that in between, but that is such a niche market and
And I
like
feel like so
such a
many
small
people
group of people.
I feel like he should just open a cafe.
Right, exactly,
Like
like a
doesn't
coffee shop.
right, literally.
But also, like, I liked the pop-up aspect of it because I feel like there's a I mean, the Bravo fan base is huge. It's mostly women. I feel like there'd be so many people that would be like, I want the soft bar pop up at my birthday, at my bridal shower, at the end of
Totally.
the night, at my wedding. I don't know. Just like
Yeah.
I think there is like the pop-up aspect of it could make sense. But like having like an actual bar brick and mortar is just like I feel like a death sentence. And the fact that he has invested 100K of his own money, like it just makes me really nervous. And like, for someone who is on a sober journey, I just hope that he like if this fails, I hope that like he can bounce back from it okay and it doesn't like send him on a darker path.
I agree, but I think what you just made like such good points about the pop-up or like the truck, but I feel like Carl would have that power as a Bravo person with a much better brand. Like he can
Yeah.
do like sexy drinks or something. Like people would, to your point, would like love to have that like at the after hours of their wedding. Like why would they have like a non-alcohol? Like why soft bar?
Right. I know. It's just not a very strong idea. There's like
No,
there's not a market fit for it. But like again, I'm echoing the sentiments of Paige, Jesse, and West. Here to support Carl.
totally.
I hope it works out, and I'm rooting for him.
Me too.
I think we have to just quickly talk about Toegate.
Okay.
Okay, Jesse and Lexi. What do you think? Like, how do you feel right now? Are you like leaning team Lexi, team Jesse, or like down the
I
middle, don't
mean,
really care?
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in third camp.
Hmm.
I know. I'm like,
I
I feel
could
like
tell from your demeanor that you were like,
well, I just feel like I'm too old for this. Like it's just and this kind of goes back to our point last week when we said that this is just a dull version of the real world. Like this drama is so clearly not drama. And I'm just like, I mean, shitting on the show that all of our listeners
come here
love.
to listen to. Yeah,
Yeah, no, no. Well, I don't know. I just it feels so juvenile. Like it's not a real problem, and we've seen so many real problems on Summer House and on some of our favorite reality shows. It's something like this, and it doesn't have to be a real problem like sobriety or like anything like you know. I don't know, like real. It could just be like Paige and Craig. Like that's like feels substantial. Whereas this is just like I literally called it from the beginning. You were like, you had said that Lexi was gonna have the upper hand, and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, I don't care who she dated before. I'm like, Jesse is the older guy in the house. Like, she's
Friends with
obsessed
all
with
the
him. Like, he's
girls. Yeah.
yeah, he will end up having the upper hand. Okay, so now my take after I just criticized the entire situation. I think that he genuinely likes her and liked her. I think he's just immature and is not ready to be, exclusive.
Even though he asked her to be exclusive after Toegate.
I totally understand why, in his mind, what happened was not a big deal.
I think
I
that he genuinely thought it was like funny and a joke. Like, I don't think that he went in there with the intentions of like joining the foursome, like
But
being.
that's the thing is like you called it when you're like he's just like a slobbering horny dog. He's just gross. I agree that he wasn't trying to be in the foursome. Like he doesn't want to have a foursome or have sex with Imrul and like the girls that Imrul gets. Like I don't think that's like was what he wanted, but just like the need to like, oh, let me go see what's going on. Like it's just
It's
gross.
immature.
It's immature. It's just like, okay, like you go do that.
I thought it
Have
was
fun.
hysterical when he was like, I went in there barefoot, and they were like, no, you didn't. Your
Yeah.
socks
He's like,
were
did
on.
you?
And they like have the video footage of him going in there with his socks on. Like, it's so funny that they were able to like roll the tapes back on that because but even all of that said, like I really do think like he went in there just being like, "Whoa," like
Yeah,
classic
right.
Jesse Solomon, like what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, could you suck my toe?
I do feel I do feel bad for Lexi. I think
I
she's really
do.
sweet. I think yeah, I mean, we've all been there. Not exactly there.
I
Like, I don't think I've ever had,
I just
you
feel
know
bad for like the way the information was rolled out at kickball,
kickball,
and
yeah.
I just feel like the girls, like no one's really looking out for her because she
Right,
doesn't like have like a friend in the house except Bailey, who is like very in and out and not even there. And I mean, she did serve a purpose in this episode to like relay information,
right,
but like, yeah, it was like sad to see her so blindsided. And then, oh, I really do love though how she caught Jesse so off guard when he went to like take her aside and talk about everything. And he thought they were talking about Toegate. And she was like, so is that why you said to Sierra, like you could have seen them dating if you got to the house before West? And his face, like the way he went like, like the
yeah,
record
yeah,
scratch. I thought that was masterfully done of Lexi just because she
yes.
caught him so off guard and was like so on her shit and had all her ducks in a row and was like,
And
what do you
she's
have to say
so
about that?
eloquent. Like,
Hmm.
she's so eloquent. She said something like she kind of like spun it around on him and then said like I wouldn't do that to you because I know that you trust me and that would be betraying your trust. Like it was just so well said and not angry and just so down to earth and kind of schooling him.
Yeah. And I think it just gets to a point where, like, even if you're not trying to be deceitful or like untrustworthy or you have bad intentions, you're still like acting carelessly
Mhm.
and just like thinking that your goofball, funny personality, like you'll be able to like get away with everything. It's very Tom Schwartz. It really reminds me a
Yeah.
lot of how like he was able to get away with being such a dirtbag for so long because everyone was just like, oh, Schwartzy. And like,
Wow.
but it's like, come on, Jesse, like this isn't cool. Grow up. Like you I
Totally.
also really didn't like but this was funny though. I did not like how he told the girls that him and Lexi had sex. I really like I really don't like a man that kisses and tells.
He
Like that is
tried
not
not to.
he did. But that
He
was
did.
funny when he was like, I don't know what this guy thinks. And there was that random man sitting there
Yeah.
on the couch with
He
them.
looks
That was funny.
trustworthy, but you never know. No, I do think he tried. I think the girls just got it out of him. I
Yeah.
don't think he would have lied to them. But I do think it's hard because if I were Lexi, like to your point, I would be so intimidated that there's all these older girls in the house who have not only been friends, but they are friends with Jesse and Jesse like trusts them and they love each other. Like, he doesn't show Lexi that he would put her before those girls. And that's like
No.
a weird that's kind of a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I totally think he's way more loyal to them and like the show and any of that than like her or like caring
Totally.
about their relationship.
Totally.
So yeah, I just feel let down by him. I mean, I still like love him and Wes's relationship. I think him and Wes are like such a breath of fresh air to the
Yes.
show and like thank you for bringing us something to talk about because I feel like there were like some seasons in recent memory that have been a little bleak. So I feel
Yeah,
like this is really like Summer House at its best.
I don't know about that.
So what would be like your golden age of Summer House? Like when Kyle and Amanda were peak dysfunction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also, like, when they were peak dysfunction, everyone was younger. I mean, definitely when Hannah was on. I know it wasn't great for Hannah, but like, that just felt like everyone was young. Everyone was going out. They were in the Hamptons. Like, it's just so transparent now that Paige is just on the show because she's on the show. She
Right.
hates going out. She's in her bed all the time. And again, we love that about her. Like, that's part of her shtick. But it's not like what the show is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a debaucherous, like a real world, as we said. So I think it's like lame. I really do. I think they should revamp it, even though we love Paige. I don't think Paige is right for the show anymore. Hot take.
No, I don't even think that's a hot take. I mean, I think they need to do what they did with like The Valley and Vanderpump Rules. We need like a spin-off of these characters in the city because we still
Yes.
care about them. We still want to follow them, but then Summer House is revamped with a new cast and you keep Jesse and West and Lexi and then all new people.
Yes. 100%. Like, I would love to see like behind the scenes of like Paige's new career and like single in New York. Like, there's so
Yes.
many other things that they could do with her.
Lindsay
Her
is
like
like a
locking
mom. Yeah, there's
right, right. Like just locking her up in this house in the Hamptons with Lindsay and Sierra and Amanda and like it's just ridiculous.
right. I know. And I think, I mean, there's rumors that Lindsay is going to go on The Real Housewives of New York, which I think is like a great fit. I mean, she would be
Yes.
perfect for it. She's just like an unbelievable reality star. Like, she's just,
Yes.
they've all graduated out of Summer House. It's time to move to the next chapter. And I hope that they figure it out before it's like really stale and we have like just like a terrible, unwatchable season like we did with the last season of Vanderpump Rules after like,
Oh my god.
yeah, Tom and Ariana and Rachel.
Um, okay,
Yeah,
let's move on to what
let's
I'm
talk.
extremely excited about.
Okay, let's move on to some more prestige television, The White Lotus.
Okay. I mean,
Talk
I
about
told
it.
you I like had like a warm and fuzzy feeling inside. Like I thought Mike White wrapped up every single storyline so well. There were definitely some things that I was like, did I love that? I'm not sure, but overall, and like we'll go through each plot line, but overall I thought it was incredible. Like just premier HBO best of the best television.
Yeah, I think I was a little disappointed. I think I was like left wanting more. I think I felt like it was a little lackluster. I think I was like trying to I think I just had so much anticipation. I thought there was going to be like more explosions happening across all the storylines. And there were definitely a few of those, but I just felt like I was left wanting more, but then like having some time and space to like let it sink in. I do really like how it all ended and like it was more of a thinker for me than
Yeah,
like a whoa in your face that's like a crazy ending, but that's what White Lotus always is. So
totally.
I should have known it would be more like that. Like he doesn't really hit you over the head with like
Right.
lessons and messaging. It's like what you take away from it, which is the best part of White Lotus.
So Mike White had a quote. I'm going to read it.
Okay.
There was complaining about how there's no plot. Part of me is just like, bro, this is the vibe. I'm edging you. Enjoy the edge. If you don't want to be edged, get out of my bed. Don't be a bossy bottom.
I saw that. That is like the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, he's like, that's why I've loved it this whole time. Everyone's like, it's tired. I'm over it. I'm like, I just love his character development so much. I don't like need a plot. I'm like, I can just watch these characters.
It really is about like complex characters and like the human experience. It's not
Yes,
about like XYZ plot points being hit and like following the
exactly.
normal beats of like
Yes.
television or a movie.
Like even for example, people I know were questioning, and I had this question too a little bit. People were expecting there to be some resolution around the Victoria Ratliff and um what's her name?
Oh, Leslie Bibbs'
Leslie Bibb, but I
character?
don't remember
Yeah.
her character.
Kate.
Kate. Resolution around that because Kate recognized her and Victoria's like, "What do you mean?" Like there was this weird awkward pause. And I think that was just again like that was just like a part of the experience of like their experience. Like Victoria was like, "I don't need to talk to this like I remember her, but she doesn't serve me, and I don't talk to people who don't serve me. And like it was just like something that happened, but it doesn't need to tie so neatly into like a bow or like
Right.
wrapped up for at
It
the
was
end of like
also just
why
to
that
speak
happened.
to her character of like how disconnected she is from like the world and like in a haze of like her own self-medication and like
Yes.
self-importance, and like you said, like this woman doesn't serve me, I don't need to like have a conversation with her. Okay, I feel like we should start with Rick and Chelsea.
I know. Wait, I have one question
Okay.
first. If you had to be, if you had to be best friends with one person, who would it be?
Oh, this is such a good question.
I know. I just thought of it.
Honestly, I think Lori, Carrie
Wow.
Coon's character, because she's so real
Hmm.
and she knows how to have a good time. She knows how to talk shit. I think I am the most like her out of all of them. Not real.
Mm,
I don't actually think I'm the most like her at all. I'll
yeah.
take that back. I'm not like her.
But I know what
But
you mean. She's the most relatable.
she's the most relatable, and I feel like I would have so much fun talking shit with her.
Totally.
What about
Okay.
you?
Just off the top of my head, I feel like Belinda.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started. I'm so disappointed in her. I am so disappointed
I'm
in her.
thrilled for her. Okay, so let's start. Should we
Okay.
start with her?
Yeah, let's just start there.
Wow. Okay, you go first because I'm like shocked.
I think it's, the whole season we're rooting for her. She's like, she's the person that was in season one, like working at the resort, completely taken advantage of by Tanya. Tanya got her hopes up that they're gonna start this spa together and that she's gonna have this like new beginning and finally like have a business and bring in a lot of money. And that's all ripped away from her when Tanya like meets a guy and just her whole, she just is like, yeah, never mind. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
do that anymore. And it devastates her. And she's kind of like healing from that devastation. And she comes to Thailand to kind of like put herself back together again and be in a new place. And she like forms this really lovely relationship with Porn Chai. Is that his
Love
name?
porn
Oh
chai.
my God, I've literally been calling my dog Porn Chai. Like all night, I've just been like, "Hi, Porn Chai." Do you
I
ever
am
come up with
just,
like you just hear a name and it sticks with you, and like it's just
of
like
course. I mean, I literally called my son Baba Ganoush.
Baba Ganoush? Yeah, I know. I literally have just been calling Finley Porn Chai.
That's
And I say it in that
literally,
way. Hi,
it makes
Porn
so much
Chai.
sense.
He's
Hi,
such a
porn
porn chai.
chai.
He just
Little
like
porn
is
porn.
porn chai.
Hmm.
And porn chai is just like so so sweet and so pure, and he is hot. First of all, like when
Yeah.
he like took
Hmm.
his shirt off and Belinda was like, "Oh damn." I was like so happy for her that she was like not only getting with a nice guy but like a hot guy.
Totally.
Um and they just like had a really nice connection, and then the second she gets money, she just dips out on him and does the same thing that Tanya did to her. And I think
Yeah.
and it's disappointing because you want to believe that like she has like a strong enough character to be like, I'm not going to do that to someone because I know how much it hurts. And it just kind of goes to show that like we would all be different people in different circumstances. Like we're all
Totally.
just like a victim of our own
Ugh,
circumstance in a way. It just this if we all got $5 million tomorrow, it just would change.
it would change
It would
things.
change things for us. I think all this to say it's like I don't fault her because anyone in that situation would act differently, but just the fact that she so pointedly hurt someone the same way she was hurt is disappointing because I just thought she was better than that. Like,
I'm happy that you said like what you had said about just being a victim of your circumstance because it's so not personal to porn chai. It's just like I think if she got that initial $100,000, I don't know that she would have dished porn chai. I think because $100,000 to her point or to Zion's point, like that's not really going to do anything. Like you can spend that in a second, especially opening a spa.
stop.
Like
Right.
so, she might still want the security of porn chai of like going in together. This would just be like a good little boost. But once she gets that 5 mil, she's like, I don't even need to open a spa. Like I don't need to do any of this. And I
Right. It just changes everything. She's like, I
she
could
just
just enjoy being rich for 5 minutes.
yeah, right, and when she said that, it was just so real, and, like, it was gut-wrenching.
Yeah, it is a little gut wrenching to think it's like all the hard work and dedication and like dream that she had just kind of get thrown out the window. Like she's just like,
Yeah.
like I just want to enjoy it. But like that's real and that's human.
She just right, like, I think she had to in that moment. I think she'd be doing herself a disservice if she followed through with that with porn chai. Like, she just met this like, she needs to, like, fully reassess her life, reassess where she's living, reassess, like, what she's doing. Like, just everything is different now. She has a totally new center of gravity. So for her to still have the same aspirations, like the same things, maybe ultimately she'll come back to it and be like, this is what I want to do. Like, I miss porn chai, whatever. But like, she can't authentically continue with the same mindset that she had prior to getting this influx of money because everything has changed. I don't know. I just thought I'm really happy that she had this ending. I think this is the ending she deserved. I really do. And I think her tying herself to another person, it would have been a mistake. Even though it's
Yeah,
like what we would have wanted, I think this is like what she needed.
it is. I think that ultimately it is the right decision. It just makes me sad that porn chai like kind
Yeah.
of got caught astray, you know?
No,
Like
it's very upsetting. And it once again, Mike White just I thought it was so brilliant how he like tied that all together.
um so I think this ties into my disappointment was that Greg slash Gary, like I thought like more was going to happen there, like something a little more sinister was brewing under the surface because we know he's a killer. He had Tanya killed. So I'm like, "Oh my God, what is he going to do to Belinda?"
Right.
But really he was just like, "I want to tie up this loose end. Here's the money and like let's just move on." And it was like it was interesting that it was kind of like nothing more than that. Like he
Yeah.
just was like, I'm kind of like at peace and like I moved here to like live a quiet life and I'd like to keep living this quiet life and like I don't need like more blood on my hands. But I think
Literally.
I was like shocked by that because I was like expecting like something really crazy to happen with Greg. So that I guess tied into my disappointment, but maybe like now that I'm thinking about it, it's just kind of like everyone at the end of the day, I think this is a major theme across the whole series is like looking to find peace. And we
Yes.
all like have different paths to finding peace and we all like take one step forward and three steps back towards
Wow.
achieving that like peace and like content. And I think that like Greg is kind of he's content with his life in Thailand and then he's also like in a way I think this is me like atoning for what I did to Tanya. Like I know that like
Yeah,
this
'cause
is
he
what she
kept
would have
saying
wanted.
that.
Yeah.
He kept saying, "This is what Tanya would have wanted." And,
Right.
like, initially when he says that, you kind of don't because you're to your point, you think he's just, like, sinister, there's something going on, so you're like, "Yeah, bullshit," like, you don't believe it. Then at the end, when he literally wires her $5,000,000 and then calls her and says again, "This is what Tanya would have wanted," it's like he's telling himself that, like, "I'm doing the right thing." Like, Tanya died and I'm almost, like, executing her will.
I would
Like,
yeah. I would have loved for a cut to Tanya in heaven just being like, I don't even remember this woman, you know?
oh my god.
Like, no, but yes, it is what Tanya would have wanted. Um,
And it's crazy though that like Tanya clearly did talk about it with Greg because how else would Greg have known
right. Well,
that because he kept saying he would say to Belinda, Tanya always said that she was upset she never started this with you. Like I don't think he would have known that.
right. And also she did talk about it in season 2 with Portia, where she's like, I kind of think about this woman that I met at a spa. And I feel
Mm.
bad that I didn't start that spa with her. I need to work on my Jennifer
No,
Coolidge.
that was I think it's great.
Thank you. Um, So, I mean, happy for Belinda that she got her happy ending. Let's talk about some characters that didn't get such a happy ending.
It was Rick.
Let's do it.
So his quest for vengeance.
Okay, so let's talk about how I mentioned that like everyone's looking for peace. I feel like
Yes.
Rick felt like he was going to find peace by avenging his father's death and killing the
Yes.
man that killed his father. Spoiler alert, the man he thought that killed his father was his father. Were you shocked
Yes.
by this?
God, there was so much that happened in that one moment. I knew something went down just because of the way Jim reacted when he's like, "You're," like, I forget the mom's name.
Gloria.
You're right. He's like, "You're Gloria's son," or "Gloria's your mom." Like, clearly something happened that, you know, Rick didn't like, wasn't privy to. But the whole thing, so yeah, I mean, it definitely surprised me, but also like the whole thing was just odd that he really was the father, but clearly was kind of a dick because he then went to the White Lotus. Lotus saw Rick, who's his son. He knows he's his son, flashes a gun and is like, "I'm coming to get you," basically. And you'd think that he would say, "Listen, like, I want to talk to you."
Yeah, it was he antagonized him and was like, "Your father is a piece of shit." But I guess he was like talking about himself and he
So he
was like,
said that.
yeah, he was like talking about he's like, "Your father was like a worthless man and like a coward." Like he was saying saved you like heartache or something by like you not meeting your
Oh,
father. So and he was really talking about himself.
oh, I forgot
How is
about that.
Rick supposed to know that? Obviously, he doesn't think that you're his father. So, yeah, I thought that whole scene was strange, and I'm not sure like what his goal was. I guess it was to like um just retaliate for him like pointing a gun in his face and like threatening to kill
Yeah.
him and knocking him over.
Clearly he was an asshole though, because again, if he really cared about Rick, I forgot about that whole speech, but I feel like he could have said like, "We need to talk," but he didn't want Rick to know that he was the father.
Right, exactly. And I think because Rick wasn't able to kill him the first time, he's like, he's a pussy. He's not going to come after me again. So I think he was just being like an asshole and like antagonizing him and like putting him back in his place. But it was just so sad because before that encounter, Rick and Chelsea had such a nice
Oh my
moment
god.
at breakfast where Chelsea says, "So, what does she say to him about like sticking together?"
"We're gonna be together forever, right?" And he's like, "That's the plan." And she just basically breaks down because even though she knew, I like interpreted it as even though she knew he always felt that way, otherwise she wouldn't have stayed with him. Like she knew that he loved her so much, but he now felt safe enough and at peace enough to actually vocalize it. And she was like, "We're finally," and it was like foreshadowing when she would say, "Rick is pain, I'm hope, we're yin and yang, one of us is gonna win." And like in that moment, you think that hope is gonna win.
Right,
He got
exactly.
his
Like
happy ending.
she got through to him, like he's healed, he's like finding forgiveness for what happened to him and it's all like brought to shit when he's confronted by Jim.
The whole thing kind of reminded me of like That's So Raven.
I laughed in the outline when I saw that. You're like, reminds me of That's So Raven, LOL.
Just because That's So Raven, for those of you who didn't watch this incredible show, it's not really a parallel, but like there's elements. Raven can predict the future and she sees into the future and something like really bad happens.
It's the
So then
future she can see.
it's the
That's
future
So
she can.
Raven.
What do you mean?
I'm quoting the theme song. It's the
Okay.
future I can see. That's
That's
so.
so
I'm loving where this is going. She can predict the future.
she can predict the future, but what ends up happening is she creates the future she predicts. Like
Yeah.
if she did, so she sees something, let's say she sees like, someone getting hit by a car. She's like, "Oh my God, I just had this terrible vision." And then she does everything in her power to not have that person be hit by the car. But because of all the action she takes to try and prevent this person being hit by the car, they end up being hit by the car. Where if
Right.
she just didn't see into the future, that person would not have been hit by the car because all the actions that she took is ultimately what had them, is the reason they were
Right.
hit,
Everything she tries to prevent ends up making what she doesn't want to happen happen.
happen. And it's like her vision that creates that.
Right. So you feel like Rick is Raven in this scenario?
Pretty much. Like Rick, so it's not an exact parallel because Rick doesn't predict the future, but he's so laser focused on the fact that his dad was murdered and that he's so broken. He doesn't have love in his life. He was ruined. He, because of that in his head, he creates that exact situation.
Right.
His dad is murdered and he doesn't have love in his life. His love gets murdered.
Wow.
He
He
created that. If he didn't have those thoughts, if he didn't have that vision, if he was at peace with what was happening, which, you know, his mom told him, telling him that his dad had died or was murdered, whatever, and like being at peace with his life, none of this would have happened. But because he had this vision or these like thoughts that, you know, his dad was murdered and he needed to get revenge, and then like he had no love, he created that entire situation for
Yeah,
himself.
that is so crazy. I didn't even think about how it's like my dad is dead and I have no love in my life. And like by the end of the season, that none of that was true before, but now it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was so like poignant when she was like, stop thinking about the love you don't have
Yes.
and focus on the
Yes.
love that's right in front of you. And I think
Right.
that is just the message of life, everybody. Like,
Yes.
it is like truly like, don't fixate on what you don't have, what you feel like you're lacking, and look around at what you do have and what you have gratitude for. And that is like how you find joy and happiness. And like Chelsea, like, really is the embodiment of that.
Totally.
And she really tries so hard to get Rick to see that. Their connection was so beautiful. I was actually so moved when she was sitting with Saxon on the
Oh my
beach and she
God.
sees Rick for the first time and he sees her face change. She runs over to him and they have like this really tender embrace and like his whole, I mean, give him the Emmy right there. I loved that expression. It just felt like you could feel every emotion that was like running through his body, just like the like wow, like everything I ever thought about like relationships and love and pursuing people is wrong, and like I'm just like the embodiment of like what's wrong
Yeah.
with
Like he's
finding
like, will
emotional
I,
connection with someone.
like he's like, will I ever be seen the way Chelsea sees Rick?
Right. Could anyone
Like
ever
if you,
love me so deeply on that level? And it's like, it's funny, like he has like the classic attractive looks, and like Rick has like
Mhm.
a receding hairline, and
Rick
like,
is hot though. It's
no,
like
it
stop
is
right.
like, he's not hot, but like, I feel like the whole, like, Saxon's whole thing is about being like what you look like and where you went to school and like all the superficial things. And it's like, has nothing to do with any of that at the end of the day, like having a
Totally.
real
Connection.
connection with someone. And yeah, his face, there is, I've seen a lot of like comparisons to this online, but in the moment, it reminded me of Megan Fahey's face
Yes.
in season 2 when she has that whole realization of that her husband like cheated on her again. And like just like all the motions that she runs through of like being hurt,
Yes.
upset, and then just accepting it and swallowing it. Just really powerful stuff. The acting on this show is unparalleled.
So one additional point to what we just talked about, I thought it was really poignant that Chloe was next to Chelsea when that whole thing was happening. So Chelsea runs away, Saxon's there, he looks heartbroken, and then you could see he feels so alone, and he like tries to connect with like anyone, and Chloe happens to be there, and he's like, hey, sorry that I couldn't help you, remember, because Chloe
Yeah.
wanted to have sex with him, whatever, for Greg. And Chloe's like, it's fine, I'll just find someone else. And I just feel like Chloe represents what Saxon was like coming into the trip or into the White
Yes.
Lotus. And now he's so profoundly changed. Um, so I just thought that whole scene was like just
Yeah,
brilliant.
getting jerked off by your brother will do that to you, I guess. It was a real come to Jesus moment.
I also want to talk about Patrick Schwarzenegger as a person. So I feel like when the White Lotus first started, there were all these like memes online, and his mother, Marie Shriver, was like doing interviews where people were like, you know, is Patrick just like Saxon? And she was like so offended. She's like, why do you think I would raise someone like
To be like
Saxon?
that. Yeah.
He's nothing like Saxon. And there are all these memes online like Patrick Schwarzenegger spending the next 10 years convincing like every person, every director and producer in Hollywood that he's actually not Saxon Ratliff and he really is his own person, just because it felt so fitting. Like,
It did. He
and
played it a little too well.
right. I actually think that this role was like one of the best things that could have happened to him because it brought him into the limelight, and it
Hmm.
allowed him to like have his own platform as Patrick. And he just filmed this IG video thanking everyone for like watching the White Lotus and how much it meant to him, and he just showed so much humility when he got this role, and never said like I'm not a nepo baby, never said like I don't have privilege, but was just, you could tell like unbelievably just like blown away that he was able to act with all of these incredible actors, and he just like played it so well. And I just think the PR around him, and as he was promoting White Lotus, like his team just did an impeccable job, and I think he might actually just be like down to earth. Like I think there's just a lot of great management there because he just seems likable somehow.
Yeah,
Like
no,
very
he does.
likable.
He really does. And I mean, I love all the like behind the scenes Instagram. Like you could really see all the posts like that the cast are putting out there. They all like had such a great time doing the show
Yes.
together and have so much respect for each other, and like they're bonded. Like I feel like they're like a family for
Yeah.
after like this experience, and I feel like it really shines through like in the show and like all the press around the show. So like just kudos to Mike White for like creating such a pantheon of
Totally.
like this will like go down in HBO history as one of the
Oh,
best series for
and
sure.
there's already season 4.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
I'm
Wait,
so happy.
there's a really funny meme. It's like of Gwyneth Paltrow, and it's like
Oh
Mike
yeah.
White, like if you're going to a ski resort, you know who to cast.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, wait, so let's talk about the rat lifts because like honestly, they're like the most insane part of this finale.
Oh, interesting. I probably agree
I
with
mean,
that.
Timothy tried to murder suicide his whole family by
Except for
poisoning
Locke.
them with pina coladas. Also, like, I'm just not really aligned with what the game plan was. It's like you spared your youngest because he said he could, like, potentially live an uncomfortable life. Yet, I don't know that he would be able to if his entire family
Yeah.
died and then you left him with nothing because
Right.
of your criminal past and activity. So you're just leaving him with no family, no money, and like a tarnished family name. Just like that was a crazy like game plan. I mean, I understand that he thought that Lachlan should have been spared because he wasn't as
Materialistic, like
materialistic as the rest of his family, but I still think he would have struggled in that scenario greatly.
um I definitely agree. I also thought it was just funny the way he answered. It was just like so emblematic of his character throughout the show. Like when his dad was like, "Do you think you can live like without a house?" He's like, "Yeah, I think so." Like he just like really struggled, obviously, to find himself and what was important to him, and is just like was so desperately trying to be seen by everyone in his family. And I feel like that you could have inserted any question that his dad could have like, and he would have been like, okay, like maybe, like,
Right. The whole point is like he has no identity of his own.
right.
He's like always trying to like just mold to like someone else in his family. And I thought, yeah, that scene, even though
Hmm.
how uncomfortable it was between him and Saxon, just I'm glad that they like acknowledged it. And he was like, I saw you laying there and I felt bad. I know how much you want to like hook up with girls and be a part of something. Like I just like wanted to bring you into it. And you could tell that like I feel like the whole season I was like, there's something really wrong with him. There's something really sinister, something really ugly boiling beneath the surface with him. He looked at his brother's ass. He, like
Right.
all this really weird stuff, but really like at the end of the day, he's just like a lost little boy who doesn't know who he is. And he's like looking up to his brother, who's like a problematic person and also really blurring the lines of boundaries for him. Like he was the one sleeping naked next to him in the first episode and asking him
And
about porn and like,
like talking about whether or not their sister had sex, like just weird stuff.
right, exactly. So it's like what a young, impressionable person is gonna like take all these things in and be like, okay, I have to be like him. Like this is normal. Like,
Totally.
and that is going to make you do something really fucking weird. And like, so while it's really disturbing that that all happened, it just makes me, I feel bad for how, like, how much shit talking I was doing on Lockie throughout the season. I was like, there's something really wrong
Lucky.
with him, but he's just
No, I
like
mean,
a sad soul.
I like, so it's funny, like so my brother actually said, he's like, I just hated that incest scene because he's like, I don't understand what it did. Like it just felt like shock value. And I actually like disagreed. This was like before, like a couple episodes ago. But I said, I'm like, obviously, please take the incest factor out of it. But it was just a very extreme example of like a very relatable dynamic of a sibling. They're deriving meaning from approval from the people who they love the most.
Yeah,
Like, that was just
exactly.
so obvious, especially then when, like, his brother, Saxon the day after is like, I don't want to talk to you. And then he's immediately like, oh, I'm gonna go to like this Buddha place with my sister. Like, he
Right.
just
He's
like
like, okay,
so
on to the
badly,
next one. Like,
right, like he's just so sheltered and just doesn't know how to like find himself. And that I mean, even at the end when like Saxon's like, no one's gonna make you a man, and he the next day, like, that's how he ends up basically dying because he's like, I guess I should start having these smoothies.
right. He's not like finding his own definition of being a man. He's like still trying to be like Saxon. But Saxon is such a hypocrite as we're talking about it because he's like to his father, I put all my eggs in your
Mhm.
basket. Like, I
So good,
have
Rebecca.
nothing going on except for like being tied to you and the work that you do. And like, please tell me that everything's okay because if it's not, I don't know who I am because all I know is myself as your son. And he's not even seeing that it's the exact same dynamic that Lockie has with him.
That is such a good point.
Thank you. I literally thought of it as we were having this discussion.
Going back to the murder suicide, this plan, I thought it was actually really funny. Side note, when they're all like kind of about to drink it, and then all of a sudden Timothy like shoves the drink out of Saxon's hand. And he's just like, dude, like,
I know that was so funny when he was just like, coconut milk's off and just like
coconut
freaks
milk's off.
out. I'm happy that he backed out of the plan, but just like insane that he kind of like went through with it.
He totally went through with it. He like, I would be so afraid to touch that stuff. He like got like tons of seeds and touched them and blended them, and like it's so crazy. What do you think about Lockie almost dying and then not dying?
I thought I'm so glad he didn't die because I was like, wow, even for White Lotus, this is like really dark. Like he's just truly an innocent. Um, and like I feel like in the past, like Tanya died in season 2, and then the hotel manager died in season 1. They kind of died like comical, like
Yes.
dark comedy deaths, and I was like, this is just like really sad. I mean, not that Rick and Chelsea's deaths weren't tragic, but like they were just like we saw it coming a little bit more. This was
And they weren't
I
like
was like, what a
17 years.
character to pick. Like this is
Right. Right.
really sad. I'm really glad that it was the moment that like he died, he like saw God, he like understood the meaning of life, and then he like
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I literally was like, that whole scene with Lachlan was my least favorite of the show because I don't get it. But I think that's what it was. It was like his way of finding meaning.
yeah, exactly. Now that he's like now that he like came back, he's on the other side. I feel like he is like gonna know how to lead a life of purpose. Like it's like the old
Chill.
Lockie died and now he came back as like Lockie 2.0.
Okay, I'm obsessed.
And then
I
it
love
also
that.
showed Timothy like I like my life does have meaning outside of like what I did at work, and like I love my family, and I like if I lost my family I would truly have nothing, and I feel like that's how he's able to like confront them and like be real with them about what what's going on.
Yeah,
Um
so that was gonna be my question. Do we think that like, I mean, clearly we're led to believe that that scene with Lachlan is the reason that he's able to confront them on the boat. It just wasn't clear to me that that was like what changed him.
I think so. I think that was like because he like wakes up, I feel like he is kind of like going through the motions again and he just like completely snaps out of it. And the way he was like crying and holding him, I feel like that was his moment of like, holy shit, like I can't lose like the one thing in my life, my family, that really matters to me.
And once again, the acting, Jason Isaacs,
Ugh. Oh
chills.
my God, I just need to say, I'm like just so obsessed with him as a person. The fact that he wears the
Hostage
the
pin.
hostage pin at every press event. And I hate to say that it's brave, but it is brave
It
in this
is.
day and age to take a stance. I admire him so much
Me too.
for taking that stance, and also on a stage where like he has so many eyes on him, and like this is like such a huge moment for him to like make a statement for Israel and for Jews. It's just like really beautiful.
And he's hot. And he's an incredible actor.
He's the full package,
He
everyone.
really is. He's
Um
pro Israel, hot, and a great actor.
he's a triple threat.
The triple threat.
Okay, wait. So let's talk about like Piper's whole storyline.
Wait, there's more I want to say about
Oh,
that.
please go ahead.
One other thing I wanted to mention, which I haven't seen anyone talk about, is there's this very like kind of like morbid scene after he confronts his family on the boat where he just like looks out into the ocean. And for a second, I was like, is he gonna jump? And he obviously doesn't. But I don't know if Mike White is like obviously on one hand, he for the first time confronts his family. So you think, okay, like he's not going to kill himself. He just like tried all that and then he finally is at peace with it. He's like confronting his family and they're going to land and deal with the cops and he'll be fine. But the way he looks at the ocean, the way like they film the ocean, it reminds me of this scene when he's talking to the Buddhist monk when they go to like assess
Hmm.
that place that Piper wanted to go to. And he literally says, "What happens when you die?" And the monk says to him, "You land back into the water and become one with the ocean again."
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even make that connection.
So
And
I
he
don't
and he
know
was
if
like, I
like,
think that's nice. Like he like that really like spoke to him.
yeah, it like gave him a sense of peace. It like made sense to him. So I don't know. I feel like if you go back and watch that, like the way he said to his family, like, things are going to be different. Then he turns away from them, goes to the ledge of the boat, and just like it just cuts to the ocean. I was just like, this is interesting. I don't know. I just thought that was like a really
Yeah. I
like
guess
it
it
definitely was meant to be a
I
connection.
guess it symbolizes again like the old Timothy, the old person that came to Thailand and now like the new reborn Timothy that's leaving Thailand like a man that like can confront his failures
Maybe. Yeah.
and like be
Yeah.
vulnerable. Um I think I just love Parker Posey this whole season and like everything her character is doing. And I just like, I feel like it's funny because all these characters are like searching for meaning and like trying to find themselves. And she is truly the person that knows herself the best and who is like leaving unchanged, where she's just like, I'm a woman who likes to live a life of comfort. I'm very privileged. We're really lucky. And we owe it to all the poor people to like enjoy our wealth and our
That
privilege.
is such a good call out that she and maybe Chelsea and then maybe Chloe, but I don't think Chloe's important enough for like to care. But I feel like Parker and Chelsea, Parker Posey or Victoria and Chelsea are maybe the only characters who don't have any change. I mean, Chelsea obviously dies, so if you consider that a change, but I just mean like, any like internal digging of like,
Hmm.
and I think that makes sense because Chelsea is like clearly so at peace with who she is, like so at peace that she can even be with someone like Rick, who like
Right,
doesn't like treat her so well all the time, like makes her life kind of difficult. And she's like, I just know we're meant to be together, like so confidently. So
right,
she's like so confident in who she is, and Victoria's so confident in who she is, and neither of them really have any sort of like shift.
right. Exactly. And I think that she like played that whole situation with Piper so perfectly, where she was like, why don't you spend one night there? And like, if you really want to do this, like, you could do it. Like, it actually just kind of showed that, like, we think that she's like a bad mother or and like she doesn't know what's going on with her children, but that was actually just like a classic mom move, like, okay, like you think you have it figured out, like why don't you go try and come back
Totally.
and tell me how it goes. And like
Right. Like she's not like out to lunch. Like she knows her
right,
kids.
and she knows that something's going on with Timothy, like clearly she's like, Timothy, you're not yourself,
You're acting strange.
you're acting strange. um so yeah, what do you think about like Piper's whole storyline? And I think that you and I kind of caught on to this early, that she was very naive and like out of her depths with this whole situation.
Yes. I mean, I will just say, like, I think that is right. But I do feel like as a character, and I feel like Mike White is so intentional that I hate to say that as a criticism and more just maybe like as an observation. I feel like she was like underdeveloped.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just like thought she was so boring. I wasn't like pulled in by her story. And I thought that like the fact that everyone predicted what you just shared about like Victoria was like, her mom was like, spend one night there. And everyone's like, she's going to spend one night and like want to leave, not want to do it because she's not going to be able to handle it. that prediction kind of made me think maybe it'll go the other way, because like usually the show isn't that predictable, but the fact that that was just like so predictable, I think was the point. But it also just speaks to like, I just found her character so one dimensional.
Yeah. Well, I think it speaks to like a lot of like naive young white girls that think like
Totally.
I know that my life is meant for like a bigger purpose, and they like want to be a spiritual person, and they want to like not be materialistic, and they want to show that they're like evolved, but it's all for show, and like deep down inside like they can't admit to themselves like, no, I like nice things and I want a comfortable
Totally.
life, and because that's not like what you're supposed to say. Whereas like Victoria's just like, she owns it, she knows
Yeah.
who she is, she owns it, and she's not ashamed of it. And I think Piper was like really ashamed of it and fighting it for a long time, and this was like her act of rebellion
And she
against
was like
her
a classic.
parents.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. It's a classic, like, I don't want to be like my mom.
Right.
But like, again, like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree,
Yeah,
as Charlie
exactly.
XCX says, sort of.
Sort of.
The apple.
The apple. No, that's
Not actually, but that was about like generational trauma. So I just like related it.
right. It's all tied together. It all comes back to Charlie XCX. Wait, I
Exactly.
saw, side note, I saw a really funny Instagram of her yelling at the LA crowd for not getting hyped for I Love It. She's like, LA, you fucking joking right now. I don't know why. I just like watched it 3 times. There was something about it that was just so funny. Like she was actually so mad. Like it wasn't like a, come on, put your hands up. Like she was just like,
Right.
are you fucking kidding me? Like she
She's
was
probably
annoyed.
just like, why do you think you're too good for this song? She's
Yeah,
like, this
and
was the
yeah,
original single. Like, get the fuck up.
exactly. I just love that she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw this. I don't know if this is true, but I just saw this on Instagram that one of the reason that like in one scene they had written out that Victoria lost her virginity to
I
Zion,
mean, not Victoria, Piper.
Piper.
Yes, I sent it to you.
Oh,
It
okay,
was
okay.
me. I sent this to you. Yeah. So like on the boat, you see Piper like really at peace, like her hair blowing in the wind, like looking up at the sun, really happy. And apparently, there's a cut scene that she lost her virginity to Zion, and that's why
I'm
she
really
was so
happy that they
happy.
cut that.
It wasn't needed.
It was not needed, and I don't see that happening.
He's way too hot for her.
Yeah, and like they're just from two different universes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was the right decision. One
Definitely.
last thing I wanted to say, because you asked me at the beginning who I would choose to be my best friend, and I chose Lori, aka Carrie Coon. I think that her monologue was my favorite of the
Yes.
entire
We
season. And basically, like, they're at their last dinner and they're going around saying like what they liked about the trip, and she was like, it actually made me really sad because it made me realize like it just made her look at her whole life and like how she searched for different meaning and purpose through like different outlets, whether it was her career or her marriage or being a mother, and that she has no true belief system. I think like one of the most beautiful and profound things I've ever heard on television was her saying, time gives my life
yeah.
meaning. Because we've all been there, like at various points, whether it's like a quarter life crisis, a midlife crisis, like even a teenager where you're just so like, what is my identity? Why am I here? What am I meant to do? Like just trying to give your life meaning, and kind of just like all the moments in between those moments are what give your life meaning. And that just enjoying the small things, like sitting with friends and talking shit. Like
Like
that,
us.
yeah, literally. Like just like finding joy in the small moments of life is meaningful, even though like you might feel like it's not. And I just love that she was like, even when we're sitting by the pool talking about the most inane shit, like that means everything to me. And I love when she was like to Jacqueline, I love that you have a beautiful face. And she said
Ugh.
to Kate, I love that you have a beautiful life. And I'm just happy to be at the table.
It
I don't
like
know what my thing is, but I'm just happy to like be here. And I think that was just so, I know we keep saying poignant, but that's the word.
no, I feel like it was so intense. I haven't even like fully processed it. Like I
Hmm.
literally like saved it for last for a reason, because I feel like I've given it the least amount of thought, because it was just like it was so intense. Like it was so real. Like she finds peace in, to your point, like in her life, in the most general sense. Like she finds peace in her survival, in her surviving her life. Like
Hmm.
she's, like to your point, like Jacqueline has like the glitz and glam and um oh my god, it's like I'll never
Kate,
remember this.
Leslie
Kate.
Bibb.
I know Leslie Bibb, but it's like I'm using the actors' names for all the other actors. And
It's really
anyway,
funny because someone I saw on Instagram that was like, I'll never know these three ladies'
yeah,
names. And it's like, what do you mean? It's Jacqueline, the girl with the bib, and Carrie Coon. I mean, the girl with the bob, not the girl with the bib.
it's funny either way.
Jacqueline, the girl with the bob, and Carrie Coon.
But yes. Um, um, but yeah, like she's made it this far. She has two lifelong friends and she's still here. She's at the table, the proverbial
I
table.
like that she said we started this life together and we're going through it apart. And that's like so, that's every like lifelong friendship.
Well, she said we're going through it apart, but we're still like kind of like together. Like it was like very much like, yeah, I mean, it was, and I also loved like how I feel like she has the most to be bitter about. And yet, like, she was the one who brought them all together through that speech. Like, the other two were just like, I'm just on a cloud.
Right,
Like, my garden's
exactly.
in bloom. And she could have been like, same. Like, I'm so happy. And, like, left, like, gritting her teeth. Like, fuck these
Yes.
people. I can't
And
be
she
with them
was doing
anymore.
that in the beginning.
Right. And then she's just like, I love you both so much. And this was really sad and hard for me, but it's also showed me so many. Like, she just, like grounded everyone and allowed everyone to take their guard down instead of like these like jabs,
Right.
to like make someone else feel bad because you're feeling bad about yourself. I mean, even Jacqueline literally did that to her a minute before she gave that speech. Like she was like, I went home with Alexi, and then Jacqueline's like, Alexi, like interesting.
Right. It's
Um,
like I feel like Jacqueline, like even though what she did, like she cheated on her husband, but like it's like she had like he was like on her turf. It was like a fun, sexy vacation fling.
right.
And like what Lori did, like going to the fight and then going back out with like back to his apartment and then escaping through the window and taking like a sketchy cab home. It's like, girl, get your life together. You're
Right.
and it's like her in that like hungover, like shame, like definitely having like a shame spiral hangover where she's like, I have to take accountability. Because
Yes.
even though Jacqueline did that to me and that was shitty, Jacqueline didn't make me go out and like act out the way I did.
And also like she could have kind of like looked down at Jacqueline and been like, instead of being like jealous, she could have been like, that's gross. Like you had sex with like the gross Russian masseuse
Right.
on our like, but instead she's like, fuck Jacqueline, like I wanted, and again, it's just like the way she like looks at things in her life. I also, just separate from Carrie Coon for a second, I also did think it was like really beautiful when Jacqueline like let her guard down and went into Carrie Coon's room
Hmm.
when she was like really hungover and was like, I want to apologize. I really didn't think you'd care and I want to be your friend. Like I thought that was so real.
Just the simple
Um
her saying, I want to be your friend was like, it really, I feel like that was huge for her. Like she's someone who like A doesn't apologize or B like come with like any humility.
totally.
So yeah, it was beautiful. I really think we saw like how these women really do love each other, which again was
Totally.
surprising because I think we all thought that it was like, oh God, this girl trip's gonna implode. They're never gonna talk to each other again. Like this is the end of their friendship. This is like the last trip. And actually, it just solidified why they're lifelong best friends, why they've been able to stick together. And it reminds me of what Chelsea said, how she's like, we're in the same group or something like about life.
Mm.
And they're like in the same group together. Like they're
Oh my
supposed to
god.
be together.
Was this the best
Like
season?
maybe now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, why was I so disappointed? It was like the most fantastic television. I
It was just really like it was just really such a good show. Mike White snaps. He did it
before
again.
we wrap up, we didn't even talk about fucking Guy Talk and
I
Lisa.
know. I
Let's just
had notes on them, but I literally don't care. I
we
mean,
let's just like talk about it for a minute.
okay.
I think I think they were definitely like the least interesting part of the season. Literally, if Mook wasn't in the show, it would have been the same. I guess she served as like Guy Talk's moral compass. Should he be like compromising his morals for like his ambitions and his career? But like, it was just really uninteresting. And he was such a pussy. And like, he kept pissing me off how bad he was at his job. And I felt like Mook was also just like kind of boring.
Um, I agree. I also feel like it's not fair because they were speaking in Thai. So I
True.
feel like it was like I was like, I don't think Lisa's a good actor. But then I was like, maybe it's just because she's speaking in Thai and I like can't. But she was always like, Guy talk.
Yeah. Oh my God. But the one thing I did like, and that was really cute, was they were interviewing Guy Talk, the actor, and they were like, "Were you so excited to meet Lisa?" And his face, like he was like blushing. He was like, "I couldn't believe that I was going to get to be like in the same room as her, let alone like acting with her. Like like just the star power. Like I feel like she's Taylor Swift on steroids for
Oh,
Asia."
totally. Have you seen like videos of her dancing and singing and rapping?
No, but I just know that she's like
It's
unparalleled talent.
it's unreal. I mean, it's Beyonce level.
Wow.
It's
I mean, I think
fucking
it's like
crazy.
Um, it's cool that like she was doing something like so different from like her normal, like just something more stripped down.
They're behind the scenes like or they're like yeah, they're behind the scenes like interviews were the best part of the whole show. I loved watching them interact together.
Yeah, I know.
He was like,
God,
I've
he's
never
so
had a
sweet.
friend like you.
That's
He's
real.
I don't know if you saw that. He was
No,
like
I don't
she was
remember
like,
that.
who what?
I don't remember that.
Like in the interviews, not in the
Right.
show.
No,
She
no,
was
I
like,
know.
who made you laugh the most? He's like, definitely you. Like he's like, I've never had a friend like you. You're a superstar. You're so like they were just so cute.
That's really sweet. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like I like them. It just like they were just the least interesting part of like everything else going on.
I did want to point out like the final act of Guy Talk shooting Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one thing that was extremely intentional that I think the way they kind of shot it or had the scene set up is that Rick was walking away. So like he wasn't a threat at all, which I think made it was even harder for Guy Talk to justify it because he had been saying this whole time, I don't like hurting people. I'm not good at this job. Like I'm a Buddhist. Like this isn't I'm spiritual. Like I don't like violence.
Right.
So not only at the end did he decide to shoot someone, he didn't shoot someone to protect someone else. He didn't shoot someone who had a gun. He literally shot someone who was wounded walking running away.
Yeah.
So like I just feel like that was really again poignant.
Poignant.
it was it was really it was just an intense scene and he listened to Sritala.
He did that just
Yeah,
to purely like enhance his status and career. It like went against everything he felt morally and spiritually.
I think it was like I really do think it was the best case scenario though because at that point Rick had no life left. He was going to jail and his the love of his life was gone. And Guy Talk, if he didn't shoot Rick, Rick would again be in jail or just like probably kill himself and Guy Talk would just have been fired. So really like the best case for everyone is for him to have murdered Rick, end up with Mook and a cool like security guard for the
Yeah, and
owner of White Lotus.
I think that it's the exact same situation as Belinda, where it's like you
Yes.
sacrificed your moral high ground for like a better like status in life. Um,
That's such a good point. But
and
again,
it's
like
both the
he didn't have
two
a
like people
choice.
that work there and like they're trying to like elevate themselves. And it's like once they're like presented with opportunity, they kind of just like turn their back on everything they've ever stood for.
Wow, I'm shook, Rebecca. That was literally so good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, it's you bring it out in me because we have such good like discussions.
We bring it
Wait,
out in each
I'm
other.
cracking up. I was like, it was so boring. I just like wanted more. Meanwhile, I'm having like philosophical level conversations.
I know. I mean, it was
I know
incredible. I'm just
it was
happy.
so good. I'm so glad you changed my mind.
Um, love
I
you. But
love you.
you literally like you came to the table prepared. Like so many of these takes, I'm like, I'm floored.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad we're doing it fresh because it's like top of mind. We just watched it. Like this
Yes.
is good. This is what we have to do.
Exactly.
So let's end this episode just thinking about I mentioned like this might go down in like the Pantheon best HBO
Yes.
series. What would you say is like your maybe top three HBO prestige television series of all time? Like if you could only take three series with you to a desert island to watch for the rest of your life, what are you bringing with you?
Okay, obviously we're not this is Boy Meets World isn't a category of its own.
No, just HBO
Just
series.
HBO.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I know I didn't really prepare for this question because I didn't research. I saw this question. So I'm just doing what came to my mind. I
Hmm.
feel like you're going to say things. I'm going to be like, wait, that one too. But recency bias, I'm going White Lotus.
Okay.
I love this show. It has a lot of elements of just it's dark, it's suspenseful, it has character development, like it's just everything that I love in a show. Um Obviously you know what I'm going to say next.
The
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 Leftovers.
leftovers. I was about to say The Last of Us, but I meant The Leftovers.
I know you know. I mean,
You
anyone
just
who
love
hasn't
Carrie
seen it,
Coon.
I love Carrie Coon, I love Justin Theroux, I love Margaret Qualley. Um
She's in that?
yeah, she's Justin Theroux's daughter.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I think it was like one of her first acting roles. But again, extremely dark, a little bit more like apocalypse, like world ending vibe. It's not like real like White Lotus, but it's just incredible. So definitely Leftovers. And it's all about how like the world, it's like you're like we asked for the shows, not like the plot,
Yeah,
but
no, I love it. I'm
it's
locked in.
the Leftovers. It's basically just about like how I would say like a 9/11-esque catastrophe, but in a more supernatural way. It's how the world's population handles an atrocity like that. And like
Hmm.
people turn to religion, people join cults, people get divorced, people get married. Like everyone just like has a breakdown because they go through this like this like collective trauma. And
It kind of
it's
reminds
just
me of COVID, like the way,
yes.
like how so many people moved across the country, quit their jobs, got married, got divorced.
Yes.
Like,
And everyone like talks about that like, oh, like where were you during COVID? It was like this universal thing that happened.
yeah.
Everyone like knows what you mean. Like, oh, I was actually living with like these friends. We like rented a ski cabin. We were here. Like everyone had like a different story. It's funny because I'm so used to saying 9/11 because when I used to talk about this series, it was before COVID. And that was the example that I would give.
Hmm.
But I could totally update it with COVID.
Yeah, no, the way you were just talking about it, like, totally evoked COVID for me. Like, just think
Yes.
about so many people that just, like, did a total 180 with their lives. They're like, "I quit my
Yes.
job, I moved to the mountains." Like, it just, like, when tragedy strikes, it really puts things into perspective. And again, it's like, how do
Yes.
I wanna live my life? Who do I wanna
Yes.
be? Very deep stuff. And
Definitely.
for
Sorry, you
me, it
just
was all about planning a wedding and feeling personally victimized.
right. That's also valid. I decided that LA was where I needed to be.
I know, and you loved it.
I loved it. But okay, my the third show, I actually just saw this show for the first time. It was almost 2 years ago, I remember, because it was during my wedding season. I remember like on my honeymoon watching it. The Sopranos.
Okay, I Zach and I have tried to watch The Sopranos twice and can't get into it because it's
That's
I know it's crazy. It's so
how far did you
I
make
think
it?
we like made it to the end of season one the second
That's
time we tried
shocking.
and we were just like, eh. It's just like it was too
Wow.
slow for us. I don't know what it is about it that we're not hooked, but it's crazy because Sopranos is the blueprint for prestige television. It is the reason why like like television on the status as the same status as
Yes.
like films is because of The Sopranos.
Like
That's a really good.
okay,
Those are all great answers,
thank you.
and none of mine are the same. So I think that this will be different, which
Okay.
will be like make for good conversation. So my number one is Sex in the City. It's like my ultimate comfort show. I love the characters. I love the fashion. I love that it's like corny at times. I
Yeah.
love that Carrie is so messy and that she's like
Mhm.
an unlikable protagonist. And I think there's been so much discourse about Carrie Bradshaw's the worst and like here's why she's the worst friend. And I think it's the pendulum's kind of swinging back the other way. It's like, do we hate Carrie because we see ourselves? Like,
Whoa.
because
Totally.
like, because she's like messy and unlikable and like really not like not in therapy. Like, you
I
know,
love I love the memes when it's like anything. I don't know, like there's like
I know what you're gonna say. Big's moving to
yeah,
Paris. No, it was like the earthquake, and it's like everyone just being
like
like,
level 5 tsunami like overtaking Thailand, like Big's back with
yeah,
Natasha.
right. Big's moving to Paris. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the memes, like it's just like so ingrained in the culture. It's my favorite show to rewatch. I just love the whole like Big versus Aiden. I love Carrie and Miranda's friendship. I just love like world of Sex in the City. I do.
I mean, if we I just want to say Desert Island was not in the initial prompt when you said asked me to think about this because that's why my shows are all really depressing and like dark
Okay,
and
fine.
slow.
I
I feel
just
like if I
really
were
meant like top three shows. Like if you could only
fair,
watch three like HBO shows, like what would they be? Like these are like
but
your
I just
top.
want to say like obviously the set like Sex and the City is so bright and fun and
Like you would
airy
want that
and
on
like
a desert island. Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
like I don't want to be watching The Leftovers. Like I would kill
Okay. So I
myself.
think the prompt, right, exactly. The prompt is more just like your all-time favorites. So
Right, right.
for me, it still stands Sex and the City. My second is Succession. That show is
Oh,
brilliant, brilliant,
so
brilliant. The acting is
yeah.
incredible. The writing, just I love that show so much. And justice for Jeremy Strong. He's one of the best actors of our time, and he should win an Oscar, and he will.
Yes.
And like he has to because from the moment I saw him on my screen as Kendall Roy, I'll never forget. I turned to Zach and I was like, "He's like a brilliant actor. I think he's like one of the best actors I've ever seen." Like,
What's Tom's name?
oh, damn it! Why am I forgetting his name?
He's my favorite part of that
I
show.
know, he's hysterical. The whole like Tom and Greg. It's the funniest show. I feel like in my mind I still say like what does he say? Ludicrously capacious bag when she has
Oh my God,
the giant
ludicrously
tote bag.
capacious.
Like anytime I see a big bag, I'm like, that's a ludicrously
Wait,
capacious bag.
what about when they had that ad? I think one of the funniest times I've like, or one of the times I've like belly laughed was when they were like talking about this like ad campaign. And it was like, we're listening. But then apparently, like, there was like something going on with the data where they actually were listening.
Okay.
So it was like a liability. So they changed it to "we here for you," but it was like HERE, like we
Yes.
here for you.
Oh my God, that was so funny. It's like we're listening, but like we are listening.
Exactly. And he's like, "What do you mean, Greg? Like we're going on stage in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like this has been tested."
Um, and then honestly, I I don't even think I remember what I had for my number three. So I think I'm just gonna go White Lotus because it's just so good. It really makes you think about life and the human experience on so many different levels. And it all just takes place on vacation at a hotel in a different destination. And it just shows that like when you have good character development, like it doesn't matter like where it is or where you are.
Yeah. Like that's again, like that's why when people were like, nothing's happening, I'm like, I could literally just watch like a 24/7 like live stream of these
Yeah,
characters. Like I just
same.
like love
I
it. And
was not bored at
that's why we
all.
love right, that's why we love reality TV. There's no
Yes.
like plot necessarily. It's just like things happen and sometimes there's slow seasons.
Well, I think that's a great place to end. This was such an incredible episode. I mean, every time we finish wrapping, we're like, that was our best one. But
I know.
that was
And
a really good one.
it's actually really funny because I was watching Call Her Daddy and like some of the original like reels, like the making of Call Her Daddy from like 2018 with Sophia Franklin and Alex Cooper first started or like had
Hmm.
first gotten acquired by Barstool or they were like and just watching them behind the scenes like every single time they record they'd be like I think that was our worst episode we've ever done, which we also do.
Yeah, we
We're
do.
just like, did that make any
We're
sense?
like, wait, like maybe we shouldn't post it. Like we have some of those too.
Exactly.
But I feel good about this one.
No, this is good. I feel I'm gonna send it to you because I think it'll like help get us like
Yeah, please. Please send it to me. Thank you guys. Thank you, Emily. This was incredible. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for another episode of Middle Part. If you like Middle Part, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please like, review, and subscribe. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And DM us, comment, send us things. We want to chat. And Thank you again for listening. Love you.
Love you. See you next week.
Bye.